So we are starting Tableau for data analytics today, and for Tableau we are using Tableau Desktop Public Edition. So first of all, you have to understand that there are different versions of Tableau available, and during our course I will introduce you to different versions. But there is Tableau Public Desktop Edition, and there is Tableau Professional Desktop. So, both of these software, Tableau Public Desktop is free, and whatever analysis you will do here, that analysis will be stored on Tableau Public server. So you cannot save your data or save your analyzed data in form of Tableau files on your computer, but they will be stored on Tableau Public server. But in Tableau Professional, which is paid, it is a paid tool, and 14-day trial is also available. So once we get enough hold of Tableau Public Desktop, then we will understand what's the difference between Tableau Public and Tableau Professional. And it is paid, which has 14-day trial. So once you have enough knowledge, then we will start learning that. And in this case, you can save Tableau workbook files. So there are Tableau workbook files which you can save, and it is not public, and then there is something called Tableau server also, but this is something that we will discuss later. So these are both, the name desktop is there, that's why these are both software utilities that you can download. Later we will understand about online Tableau also, like online Tableau public, what is online Tableau public, and how we can access that. So there is this URL public.tableau.com, and from this URL you can download Tableau Public Desktop Edition, or you can run Tableau online also. Okay, so if you select web authoring, you can run Tableau online. So this is the online version of Tableau, and it is asking us to connect data. We also have different connectors like Google Drive, OData, or Tableau server. So we will, as I said, we will discuss about Tableau Public later, but we are starting Tableau Public Desktop here. Link to download the software and everything I will share after the class, and I will also provide the link in the video description. So from there you can download this software. You also have to create account on public.tableau.com. So you have to create an account here. In our case, the account is already created, but you can create account. You can use your Gmail or whatever email you have for this purpose. As I said, in data analytics, so I am just creating the block diagram once again. So there are multiple structured data sources available. In our case, we are calling the structured data the data which we have to analyze. So there can be Excel file, there can be SQL file, CSV file, which is comma separated value, XML file, JSON file, or even you can get data from Google Analytics. I'm just giving some examples. Google Analytics, you can get data from Google Search Console. This is some data. You can get data from Salesforce, CRM or any other CRM, etc. There are many type of structured data or sources from where we analyze data, and whatever data is there, you have to learn about these technologies if you have to analyze data, or you need a software that can connect with all of them, and that is Tableau for you. So here you don't need, you know, coding and all. Tableau is a very easy to use drag and drop tool. Like the UI is also very easy to understand, and all of this can be analyzed using one tool. And what you can do is you can prepare reports, create dashboards, stories, data stories, explain your journey through data, statistical and graphical analysis, and even some part of visualization of machine learning can be done using Tableau. So, like I'm just saying, visualization of machine learning algorithms. So, not model part, but you will understand this later, what I'm saying here. So, all of this can be done with one tool, and that's why this type of BI tools or business intelligence tools or data analytics tools are very, very popular. So, that is what we are going to do today. We are going to learn all of this, and for that, as I said, you need to go to public.tableau.com. From here, download this software, and after downloading this software, install in your computer. And once you have installed this software, it will open up like this. And as I said, here there are many different sources, as you can see. So in the free version, connectors are limited, like you have Excel, text which is CSV, JSON which is JavaScript object notation. We will have separate chapter for JSON, like what is JSON data and how to connect with JSON data, how to get JSON data, everything will be discussed. Then we have Microsoft Access, we have PDF file, spatial, statistical file, and so on. We have OData and more here, like Google Drive, Google Sheet. If the data is not in Excel but in Google Sheet format, you can do that. Or if your data is on web, you can use the web data connector. So as a beginner, you should not be too much worried about these type of connectors. But as a beginner, just understand we will get many sample data sets to analyze, and Microsoft Excel and CSV, which is text file here. These are the two formats for beginners that first you should understand how to connect data and how to analyze data, like, and how Tableau represents data. So one such file is sample superstore dataset. So this is that file, the sample superstore datasets file, and actually we discussed about this file earlier also. This file has records of orders placed in a company. Date starts from 2014 to 2017. So from 2014 to 2017, I am just writing this also. Year 2014 to 2017, between these years, orders placed in a superstore. A superstore sells multiple items. So this superstore sells items in various categories, like categories. So you can see categories here, like in which category it sells product, like furniture, office supply, technology. So that, that is what it does, right? Categories are furniture, office supplies, and technology. Similarly, there are many subcategories also. So we will discuss that later. Orders are placed from different states of USA, right? States of America. So those states are also, you know, qualitative data for us. This category name is also qualitative data. Like whenever order is placed, it has these categorical columns or qualitative data columns. So all of this, like category, I am setting it as blue. Subcategory, product name, state name, city name, all of these are categorical columns, qualitative columns. Region. In these columns, actually, there are only 4 or 5 values. Like for example, in region, if we apply filter, you can see there are only 4 values, right? So even though the data set has 10,000 rows, in this entire data set we have close to 10,000 rows, but these values are limited. Okay, limited number of values. So such type of qualitative data is also known as a nominal variable or nominal value, right? Nominal, because we have nominal values here. So in such cases we can draw pie chart, bar graph, in order to visualize the data. And one very important thing is, since the number of values are less, like the number of unique values are only 4, as you can see here, there are only 4 unique values. So, and suppose someone asks you, what is the sum of sales in these regions? What is total sales in these regions? So you cannot go row by row. You actually have to group data. So you have to group data by region and then tell them sum of sales. So this is very important thing. So group data by region name and tell sum of sales. So that is very important thing. So whenever any particular variable or any particular column has 4, 5 values or nominal values, so in such cases we use aggregate measures. Aggregate measures. Aggregate measures means we do sum, minimum, maximum, average, and so on. I'm just a count. These are the most common aggregate functions. These type of functions are also available in Excel, in SQL, in Tableau, in whatever data analysis tool what you will learn. Sum, minimum, maximum, average, and count, and variance and standard deviation, etc. will be the aggregate functions. These aggregate functions are done for statistical analysis, and sum, minimum, and these are used when we are analyzing data that is actually a categorical data that has limited number of values. So it's very simple. So all these variables where we don't have 10,000 values are actually categorical values for us. But in case of sales, for example, so every order has a unique amount of sales. Every order has its own quantity value, its own profit, its own discount. Okay. So even the order ID is also different for each order. So this is what is very important, and this is how you can actually understand that order ID has, suppose there are 10,000 orders, so there will be, in ideal case, there will be 10,000 ID. For example, every row has a unique ID. So as a result of which last row has 9,994 value. So every row has a unique ID, but every row does not have a unique value of segment. Every row does not have a unique value of state. So state names are repetitive, and when there is repetition in data, then we group data, and with group we do use these measures. So this is what you have to understand. This is a simple rule. So whenever there is unique data, suppose all the rows are unique, in that case you cannot do sum or minimum. But if values are bunched together, then in that case you use sum, minimum, maximum. So that is something you will understand in detail. Now once we open Tableau, after opening Tableau we can click on this, and then it will open our computer file explorer, and from here we can search for the file. And once we have searched the file, you can see we have this, right? So now you can see three sheets here: order, people, return. You can three sheets here are also visible, right? So in the Excel file there were three sheets. Here also there are three sheets. So whatever sheet you want to analyze, you can simply drag that sheet here. You don't have to write any code to read the data. You just have to select the data, and then you just have to drag the sheet, and that sheet will appear here. Okay, this is why Tableau is very easy for beginners, because here you don't have to code anything. You don't have to install too many softwares. All you need is to have your data and Tableau, and just connect your data. And here you will see all the data that you were seeing in Excel file is now available here. Okay, all the columns are imported here. There is one very important thing which is very easy to understand also, that when in Tableau you load these columns, so just above your columns these type of icons appear, like this ABC appears here, a calendar appears. This is calendar, right? ABC. Here you can see a globe is appearing. So in case of country, city and state and postal code, a globe icon is appearing. Why a globe icon is appearing? Because it is a geographical data. Okay. So in case of Tableau, we have many data types. Okay. So when there is data, there are data types. So there is this data type. So in Tableau, the data type is mainly numerical whole number, which we also call as integer. Okay. Numerical decimal number, which we simply call as decimal or float. Okay. We'll You have to learn this. So after the class I will share all of this, but you have to learn. So whether it's a programming language or a tool like Tableau, when you will get data, so there will be some data types. Okay. For example, sales here has decimal values, but quantity has a whole number. So this quantity is an integer value. Profit is a decimal value. It can be negative. Negative profit means loss, and it can be positive. Okay. So positive and negative both values are possible. Similarly, there is a data type called string. String is alphanumeric value. Alphanumeric has two, you know, words. So it is made up of two words: alpha, bet, and numeric. Okay. So string values are mostly like, examples are name of person, name of city, name of anything is a string value. Okay. Where we have alphabets, for example, your PAN number, your Aadhaar number, or your roll number of college, or those type of values are string values. So here also we have many string values like category name, subcategory name, product name, customer name, city name. So these are all string values. Okay. So name, ID, etc. are string values. And string values have roles. Okay. Data role, that means string value can have a geographical role. Geographical role. Okay. Like a string value, like a name of a city or like a name of a state, can have, you know can have a geographical role. Like name of city is a geographical value. It has a area, it has latitude, it has longitude coordinates. Postal code, every area has a distinct postal code. So those type of values can be considered as geographical. String can be string alphabets, string can be numbers, string can be alphanumeric. As in case of postal code, you can see, although these are all numbers, but since they have a geographical role, they are considered as string values with geographical role. Okay. Hence you can see a globe over here. So this is one type, and then we also have date and date time. So for example, here there are special kind of strings, like this is, sorry, this is also a string value because it has hyphen and all, although there are numbers and hyphen or a minus sign, but this is a date value. Okay. Later we will also deal with date time values. So today you have to understand, again there is no programming, but you have to understand that data type is obviously what type of data you have, is a classification of what type of data. Okay. So here either you have a numerical data or non-numerical data. Simply, if it's a non-numerical data, mostly it is a string, and a string has many role, like a geographical role, a date time value, right? This is one classification. Next up is in Tableau particularly, we have two types of data. So numerical data, which has numerical properties, is called as measures, and the other data like name of person, categorical data, nominal data, all those type of data variables are called, I am just writing a string mostly, these are called dimensions. Okay, so you have to remember this. So simply put, all the numbers that you see in data that are actually numbers, the continuous numbers or the discrete numbers, whatever you see in your data, these are all measures for us, and measures are green. Let's Tableau gives them a green color, and all the dimensions Tableau gives them a blue color. Okay, and that is how Tableau understands things. Okay, and this is what happens. So as you can see, in sales, quantity, discount, and profit, you can see the hashtags. Okay, hashtag represents a number. Okay, ABC represents a string value. Okay, this globe sign represents a string value that is actually a geographical value. Okay, calendar represents a string value that has a data type of date or date time. Okay, so these type of things are there. So on this screen where you load data, you will see a lot of this stuff. Okay, and what to do next? Now we have connected our data. Now our data is ready to be analyzed. Now our data is ready to be, you know we are ready to prepare reports, dashboards, stories, statistical and graphical analysis. So just go to sheet. The next step is, after loading the data, sheet. This video is also being recorded, and you will get this video after the class, so that you can replay the video and do as I am saying. Okay, and while doing the same thing, whatever problems you will face, I will address those problems in the next class, and then we will continue. Okay, now let's understand some things about this particular screen. So this screen has this tab called data. So on the sidebar we have all the data, and on the right hand side we have area for graphs or reports to appear. Here we have column. Okay, here we have rows. Up until this point we have not done any kind of coding. We have just loaded the data, and all the variables that you see in an Excel file, all these variables are now appearing vertically here. Okay, you can drag one variable from here and one variable from here and create a graph. What Tableau does is, Tableau, as I said, Tableau divides your graphs into two parts. Okay, Tableau divides your graphs into two parts, measures and dimensions. Dimensions are placed on top. These are all dimensions, and once all dimensions are listed, after the list is over, all the measures start. Okay, you can see. So measures are all appearing green. You can see here. When I am hovering my mouse, you can see green color. Here you can see a blue color. So all the blue colors are dimensions. These are blue, and measures are green. Although this has nothing to do with data analysis, but it will be very. That's where Tableau is one of the best tools available. because how it classifies data, right? So this. Now you know that if you have to create a table or if you have to draw a graph, you need two axes, right? Like you need two axes, right? You you need two axes, x and y. Y is vertical, x is horizontal. So in our case, columns are all vertical and rows, how rows are there, right? Rows are all horizontal. So what, and this is row and column. So all you need to do is drag something from this and something from measure into row and column, and Tableau will draw a graph for you. But we don't do that randomly. It is always based on some question. Okay. Let's say someone asked a question, region wise breakup of sales. So as in India we have east, west, north, south region and central. So in similar ways, they also have divided the sales data into south, west, central or east region from USA. So let's say all of them ordered 10,000 orders, like all of them placed 10,000 orders combined. So out of those 10,000 orders, how many of them were from south region, how many were them of them were from east, and so on, right? So for that what you will do is, obviously you need to analyze region wise, right? So you will drag region here. So what Tableau will do for you, once you have dragged region into columns, so it has created 4 columns. Why 4 columns? Because the region variable has only 4 distinct values or 4 unique values, right? That's why 4 columns. We can add more sheets here. Like from these icons you can see one sheet represents one piece of data that we analyze. Like when to answer a question, we can use a sheet to answer something. Let's say I want to analyze subcategory. If I analyze subcategory, why are more columns here? Why not 4? Because in subcategory for 10,000 orders there are let's say 10 or 9 or 10 different subcategories. Okay, so every variable, every categorical variable might have different number of distinct values. Like for example, in USA there are 50 states. Okay, when you drag data here, you will see the name of those 50 states. Okay, so state wise, like in India we also have a state, and a company might want to understand or analyze state-wise sales, state-wise profit, region-wise profit, you know, like in one region, suppose we are spending some amount of money for marketing, in other region we are spending other amount of money. So like in order to understand like what type of requirements do the region have, what type of sales are we getting from there, on the basis of that company can take a lot of decisions. So that is why data analysis is very important. So I drag region here, we get 4 regions, and then from measures we just drag sales, and boom, we have our first graph, which is a bar graph. Okay, a bar graph is a bar graph simply represents, on x-axis you can see the name of all regions, and on y-axis you see sum of sales, not sales, sum of sales, because in this case you have to use aggregate functions. You cannot use sales because all these regions we can only see sales if we use average, minimum, maximum, count or sum. Okay, so you have to remember these aggregate values also, like sum, minimum, maximum. And aggregate is done when you have non-distinct values, when you have grouped values. Okay, and here you can see you have various marks. So let's say we want to do it a line, so it will change it to line graph. We want to use pie, so it will change to circle. And this is something that you will learn in the next class, but as a beginner you have to understand this, that in up to this point we haven't used any kind of coding for this. Okay, now similarly, let's say these are the states. Okay, so let's say state wise profit. So you will see a bar graph, a longer bar graph with more width, because here we have 49, not 50, but in this data actually we have 49 states, and in some cases you can see the profit is going below the zero line, and these are all those states where we actually had loss, right? In Pennsylvania, Texas, Ohio, in North Carolina, everywhere we had loss. And you can see in California we had most profit, in New York we had profit. So there are then use of these icons over here. Okay, so let's do this. So what it will do is it will simply arrange the data in descending order. What this will do is arrange the data in ascending order. So now today all you have to do is, this is so that we don't get too much overwhelmed by seeing all of this and we don't get too much confused. So today's task is very simple. You will get this Excel file, you will get the Tableau desktop software, install it in your computer, and after doing that connect the data. So go to data source, from here connect an Excel file, select the Excel file. After selecting the Excel file, just drag orders, see if you get all the columns and the rows. Go to sheet and just draw region wise sum of sales. This is your homework. Just do it this much and then let me know if you are able to perform this task. If not, what problems you faced, then we'll solve the problem and proceed further.